What's up, guys? Iceman here. So I know some of you have probably heard about this story already. It has been making its rounds on the internet, but there are some new emerging details regarding it, so I decided to cover it. Shockingly, 2 college students who were wrestlers were able to somehow overcome a grizzly bear, or at the least, get it to run away and stop attacking them. Yeah, as far as I see it, these 2 guys were walking on a trail somewhere and one was attacked by the bear and the other jumped on top of the bear or something and tried to wrestle the damn thing off. I'm not sure how large the bear was, but maybe we'll find out those details in just a moment here. So nonetheless, here's a more recent article regarding this incident. College wrestler jumps on grizzly to save friend. Kendall Cummings could feel the grizzly bear's jaws tearing through flesh down to his skull, but the adrenaline coursing through his body made it a painless sensation. I could hear when his teeth would hit my skull. I could feel when he'd bite down on my bones and they'd kind of crunch, Cummings told the media outlet. Cummings and his wrestling teammate at Northwest College in Powell, Brady Laurie, were attacked by a grizzly bear Saturday afternoon outside Cody. The 2 survived, but suffered serious injuries from the angry Bruin. The bear first attacked Laurie, but Cummings, an Evanston native, jumped into action to pull him off. I grabbed and yanked him by the ear, said Cummings, a sophomore. Cummings successfully got the bear's attention, backing up as the predator reared up toward him. He described the sensation of the bear's putrid breath filling his nostrils and himself with a sense of dread. The bear charged at Cummings with surprising speed, immediately knocking him to the ground. After a short while, in the grip of jaws, the bear left him. Cummings' thoughts were not on his own injuries, but rather that the bear would attack Laurie again. It was when he stood up to look for his teammate that the bear attacked again. I called out to Brady to make sure he was all right, and I think the bear heard me, Cummings said. It kind of circled around and got me again. Cummings said he fought back against the bear at first, but it quickly became apparent it would be a fruitless endeavor. The bear eventually stopped its attack, and Cummings lay still for a few minutes after, hoping to avoid a third encounter. When it was clear the grizzly was gone, Cummings said he got up and rejoined Laurie. The bloodied men then began their long trek down the mountain, 5 miles away from the Bobcat trailhead where they had started their hike. I owe him everything. Laurie, a native of Cedar City, Utah, credits Cummings with saving his life. Can't even express how grateful I am for him, Laurie said. I don't know what I'm going to do to pay him back. I don't. I owe him everything. Both men have undergone multiple surgeries over the last couple of days. Cummings received 60 staples in his head and plastic surgery to address major lacerations to his face, major lacerations to his left arm and leg that doctors had to suture up, and stitches on his right hand and right leg. Laurie suffered a broken arm and lacerations to his back, shoulders, right leg, and thigh. Laurie was scheduled to be released from the hospital Monday, while Cummings is expected to be released later this week. Veteran hunters and wrestlers, the Grapplers, said the experience was incomparable to anything they've ever gone through. I've never experienced anything like this, Laurie said. How did this attack happen? Laurie, Cummings, and teammate Orrin Jackson and August Harrison decided to head up to the South Fork outside Cody to go horn hunting after finishing a Saturday morning wrestling practice. They all brought bear spray, 1 firearm, and experience in the back country. Along with the 5 or 6 antlers they collected, Laurie said they also saw copious amounts of bear scat, but no bear. If you're seeing bear tracks on the ground, probably turn around and walk the other way, Laurie advised. There has been many reports of recent bear activity in this area. At a certain point in the day, Cummings and Laurie became separated from Jackson and Harrison by about a half mile. As they were traveling down the mountain, the bear emerged without warning, charging Laurie before he could engage his bear spray, tackling him At full force, the bear knocked Lori off the small ledge he was standing on. At first, Cummings tried to get the bear off Lori by yelling and throwing objects at it. When this didn't work, he physically tried to pull the bear off his friend, grabbing it by an ear. "We're brothers," Lori said. "We'd do anything for each other." Cummings didn't say much when asked about what was going through his head as the bear attacked one of his best friends. He just reacted. "It just happened so fast," he said. With a broken arm, Lori alerted Jackson and Harrison to what happened and called 911. Eventually, the bear went away, and the two started making their way down the mountain. They were far from out of the woods, with about 1.5 miles to go before reaching emergency responders. Lori's father said both young men feared for their lives. "My adrenaline was rushing so much, I really didn't feel anything," Lori said. Harrison and Jackson hauled their teammates on their backs all the way back. "That's what the wrestling team does. We go to hell and back with each other," Lori said. "We aren't going to let one of us go down without helping." Once reaching emergency responders, Cummings was loaded into a side-by-side, at which point his adrenaline began wearing off. The wind, it was blowing onto my skull, and it was getting pulled. That hurt. It was miserable, Cummings said. "All the bumps, too. That was the worst part." Lori's father said he thought his son was joking when he told him about the attack. Once the reality of the situation set in, he caught the first flight out to Billings from Salt Lake City. He was very emotional that one of his teammates saved his life, Dallas Lori said. Both of the young men said they plan to hunt and wrestle in the future, and will rejoin the team at practices as soon as possible. "We'll be best friends for the rest of our lives," Lori said. My God. What do you guys think about that situation? It seems so miraculous that the bear just decided to leave. And I don't know how many times it went back and forth between these two young men, but they were very brave to stay in the fight. What do you think you would do in such a situation? Would you be tempted at all to just take off while your boy was getting mauled? Or do you think you'd have the courage to jump on the back of a giant grizzly bear and just pull on its ears or gouge at its eyes or hit it or whatever you could do? It's crazy that they weren't very well armed for this situation, so it seems. But I mean, they all did have bear spray. They just apparently didn't have time to use it. That seems to be a reoccurring pattern that I've been noticing, is these incidents happen in such a flash of time that the victim has barely any time to react. So if I were going through dense forestry in bear country, I feel like I'd have that can of bear spray in my hand with the safety off, just ready to go. But thank the creator that apparently these two young men are going to have a full recovery, and blessings to them that they do. But let me know what you would do in such a situation, and how would you act going forward, surviving such a thing. If you guys will like this video, subscribe to this page if you haven't yet, and check out my other channel as well, Chilling Tales from the Iceman, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace be with you.